guys, welcome to the Gimp Guide. Today we're going to take a look at a project that is inspired by the American artist Andy Warhol. He did a lot of his work in the 1950s, 1960s, and onward, and he focused a lot of his art on pop culture. Um, this is one of his most famous pieces, the Marilyn Monroe, and he did this at the time using a process called silk screening, which is very common now, but was pretty innovative for the time. Um, Nowadays, we can do this with graphic editing and filters in a matter of minutes, but like I said, at the time, it was a pretty innovative technique that he was using. Um, so I'm going to show you how to run through this and how you can create something like this using GIMP with layers and filters. And if you like this lesson, feel free to. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe and share it with your friends. But either way, let's see how it goes and let's get to it. All right, the first thing you'll need to do is open a file that you've saved. I've got a Taylor Swift file here, and so I'm going to open this image. If you look up top along the ruler, you can see that this is about 3,000 pixels wide. I'm going to resize this image menu, scale image, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to make sure, first of all, that the aspect ratio is locked, and I'm going to go down to 300. And I'm going to scale it, which looks pretty small. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So then I'm going to create a bigger canvas. So this is 300 wide. So I know that I want to do 3 images wide. So I'm going to lock that aspect ratio and I'm going to change this to 900 for a width. And since the aspect ratio is locked, it's going to triple the width and it's going to triple the height. So then I get the image just in the top left corner and I've got a lot of canvas to work with. Then I'm going to click in the ruler and I'm going to drag down, and this is going to create a ruler guide. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side and drag across to line up with the right edge of the image to create another ruler guide. And those are going to come in handy. I'm going to right click on the layer, I'm going to duplicate that, then I'm going to use the move tool. And I'm going to click in that duplicated layer and move it to that next section. And it should kind of snap there. Then I'm going to grab another ruler guide, drag it to the right, duplicate the layer again, and then I'm going to move that one to the top right section. Then I can duplicate that layer one more time and drag that down. So I start my second row. Then I'm going to grab in my ruler again, drag down a ruler guide, and snap that into place. Duplicate that layer again, and then I can drag that over to the middle. Duplicate again, drag it to the next section, middle left. Duplicate again, drag that down, and those ruler guides help those images snap into place. That's why those ruler guides come in handy here. So just duplicate, 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 and move those so that you end up with a image that has 9 layers. Each layer is pretty much the same image. I've just used those ruler guides to snap them into the different sections of the canvas. So then I'm going to start with my top layer and I'm going to add a filter. And you can just pretty much pick any filter you want. In this case, I picked the cartoon filter. You can see what's happening down there to the bottom right picture. I'm going to play around with the settings a little bit and see if I can get something a little more interesting. Feel free to just experiment. There's not really any right and wrong here. You just want to create some different images. So sometimes they have presets. This one doesn't have any. So I'm going to stick with that. And then I'm going to move down to my second layer and I'm going to look for another filter. I'm going to look in the artistic category and let's try this water pixels. Once again, you can play around with the settings if you want, see what effect those have. Use the slider bars. Depending on what filter you pick, you'll have different settings that you can change. But when you're happy with that, just say OK, move down to the next layer, look for another filter. And we're just going to kind of keep repeating this where we check out some different filters from different categories We'll go to artistic and try oilify and see what happens here. I'm going to adjust the slider for mask radius, exponent, just to, look for some different effects. Just gives you a chance to experiment and play with some of the different filters that they have. Move down to the next layer, add a filter. Let's see what we have in the distort filters. Emboss. And I'm just going to stick with what they have here. Say OK. Move down to the next layer. Go to my filters. We'll check the distort category and use mosaic for this one. Move down to the next layer. We'll go to distorts again, try the newsprint. Oh, sorry, mosaic. I already did that one. Newsprint filter, keep what they have. So it's just a matter of moving down to a new layer each time, picking a filter. Sometimes the filters won't do anything that you can necessarily see, so you can just undo that or add another filter. Clothify. So it's just, yep, it's a matter of looking through the different filters, play around, check them out. You're not going to break anything by exploring. And there's quite a few filters in here if you look at the different categories that they have. We'll go to the last layer, one more filter. We'll do the pixelize filter for this one and say okay. So there you go. You got 9 layers. You got the same image that you used. We've applied some different filters, so we get 9 different looks from our images. And that pretty much covers it. Hopefully this is something interesting that you can have some fun with, explore filters, play around with that canvas, and duplicate layers. All good skills put to use in an interesting way. Remember, if you want to like or subscribe, you'll see some updates, and I'll be posting some videos here pretty regularly with some different GIMP projects on it. So hopefully it can serve as some inspiration. Thanks for watching.